Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, I don't know if the sound's coming through or not. UK Daz is saying no sound Xbox, so if this is my intro, this is my intro. If it's not, well, you missed out on something great, guys. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if Daz needs a drink of beer.
my audio up over here on my side and see if I can hear us. Me.
Why is everyone yelling? Okay, well that's all that matters. We can keep going then.
Oh wow.
Oh, you guys hear me?
Can y'all hear me? I mean, because that's the most important thing of the show.
At all.
Well, this is the best show ever. Let's keep going.
What is going on, people? It is Saturday night, and next podcast is live. Guys, I don't write a script for this show, and I gotta say, I had one of the best kind of like opening statements and intros in the show's history, but you guys couldn't hear me. But hopefully, I corrected the situation. You should be able to hear me now. Yeah, there he is. Thank you, Great Skull Zero. We have a great show lined up for you tonight. It is a rumor blowout. So, guys, I hope you're comfortable in the chat. Get ready for a great show. And you know the best way to get ready is to hit that thumbs up button right underneath the show. Let people out there know on Twitter, on Facebook, that it is going down tonight on this channel. But let's get into the intros.
Wait. The thumbs up button doesn't do anything, so feel free to leave a comment or hit a share. We care, so just hit those things and we're good.
Send a carrier pigeon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right the URL.
That's who brings K-Mega's gameplay every week.
Dude, we gotta talk about your pigeon, man. Your pigeon's running late a lot. You know what I'm saying? No. But, yo, let's get into the intros, and I'm going to switch it up now. Speaking of the man, this guy has gone through an over 14-hour shift, and guess what? He is here for your entertainment, coming live from the 405, my brother, K-Mega!
Dedication.
That's what I'm talking about, brother.
And I don't even get paid for this shit. But anyway, that's you know what I'm saying? But, of course, we do it for the love. Go sub K-Mega's channel, please. Anyway,
yes,
so no, sub everybody's channel for real. But no, man, glad to be here as always, doing my thing. But I did put that link in the description. So if you want to, I'm not the description, but in the DMs, if you want to check that out, it's pretty interesting. So if you want to get a chance to talk about that,
if later on in the show, if you want to bring it up, feel free. Okay. As you're bringing it up, I'll go over to the DM and I'll check it out because you know me, I'm looking at like 3 different screens of animation going on right now, and if at some point in time you can take over on it, I can kind of catch up on that topic, and then I'll have something to add to it, man.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, doing my thing. I'm growing a beard because I'm working so damn much. That's crazy.
Your beard's weird, man. Your beard.
Weird beard.
I'm growing a weird beard. As always, glad to be here, man. Let's get this show popping, man. Yeah. Oh, and I finally got my gameplay in for the week. Enjoy. Gentlemen,
vote for Xbot is what he said. All right, guys. Yeah, check this out. Coming in next is the man who's just trying to get some of that gameplay respect. You know, he gets no respect out here in the community for his gameplay. It is Predator.
What's going on, everybody? Another show, another week. Glad to be here. Got some gameplay. It's pretty lame. I don't know a lot this week, but you can still vote for me.
Uh-oh. Hello there.
I'm here.
Okay, now I can hear you. It was a YouTube black hole, man. It happens.
Bot's gonna have to start over.
Yeah, that's all good.
Episode 1 all over again.
1 point, yeah, right.
Dude, if we're doing episode 1 all over again, I'm doing the original graphics and everything too. All right,
that would be dope because you know what, I did love the whole little green thing and the crazy music with the that was dope. Anyway,
dude, you remember?
If you didn't hear my intro, the only thing you need to know is hook 'em.
No disrespectful, messy. Still boomer sooner here. Congratulations, Texas fans, y'all still suck.
Is that 5 straight for Texas?
Is there going to be a little bit?
Hell no, y'all didn't win last year.
You sure?
Positive.
Man, trust me, Mega's keeping track.
You know I keep track. You know what I'm saying? Oklahoma against Texas, I'm on it, Jack.
Is there going to be a little tension tonight because of this whole thing? I just want to know, man.
If Fred keeps on talking that garbage, it might be. No, I'm playing. Keep going.
Oh, shoot. Well, guys, my lights are flickering, and you know what that means. It is time
Need to pay the light bill?
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, I saw the bill actually on the kitchen table before we went live. I'm like, oh shit, already? Now, guys, it is time for everybody in the chat, everybody on the panel to stand up, show that respect, kiss that ring. The Don.
I think the earlier intro was better. Too bad everyone missed it. But yeah, let's do the podcast. Let's keep it rolling. We got some topics, and more topics seem to be added as we go. So let's go through.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we're gonna start doing that. Just add to the topics and see how many we can get done in like an hour and a half, 2 hours time. Yeah,
I guarantee our list will never be as long as Crap Gamers.
Dude,
like no one knows behind the scenes. I'm gonna give you guys a little peek behind the scenes. And I'm like, where is this? He's like a thesaurus. He's just this long ass list of stuff. I mean, I don't know what we end up getting through.
In the DM, when I end up on Xbox Nation, I'll check the topics and I'll start scrolling with my mouse. You know, the little wheel, like the little wheel, like the little wheel gets tired, man. I keep going. I'm like, we're really gonna cover all this? We never do, man.
I mean, he's prepared though. I mean, and I think whatever they don't make it to, it just ends up on his channel.
Yeah, I know, right? One of the 4 videos that goes live on the daily. But guys, let's first off, before we get into the topics, I was about to do that, but I want to give a huge shout out to our boy, the Angry Otter, Dark Optimus. If you guys don't know, he has stepped away from podcasting. His job, I guess he took on a new kind of like role in his job, and he's going to be working a lot more, doing a lot more traveling as well, working weekends and stuff like that. So he really couldn't commit to being here on a weekly basis. I want to just give him a huge shout out and say what a great job he did while he was here. It was a lot of fun, having that Angry Otter sound effect, hearing him go in on K Mega, just that random, like it wasn't even like it was a lot of times it was really off topic, but it was a lot of fun having him on.
I thought we were just gonna pretend he never left and just play the otter sound. Is what the plan was.
I thought I was told to just pretend like he never existed.
Oh man, the man's out here to defend himself. What are you doing, Mega?
Anyway, no, I'm just playing.
No, I just wanted to give him a huge shout out. I will let people know we have a new member coming into the show next week, and guess what, guys? I'm the only one who knows who it is. Not even Predator, K Mega, the Don.
I already know who it is.
No, nobody knows who is coming in on this show.
My clone told me.
Dude, we can't take 2 of you on this show, man.
Oh, can't take 2?
No, okay. We can't do that, man. That's like double sarcasm and too much
sarcasm.
Too much Utah humor, man. We can't have that. It's too much, man. But like I said, huge shout out to Dark. We will miss you, man. I know you're still going to be on Twitter. You're still going to be on Xbox Live. We still got to get in and play some more Destiny 2. I got to show you how it is played. But on that note, guys, let's get into the topics here. Let's kind of get this out of the way. There is a rumor. It's coming from the Nintendo headquarters. A lot of people saying its shareholders are leaking information that basically by this time next year, there might be a new and improved Nintendo Switch. And I gotta say, when I first heard this, I kind of scratched my head. But then I looked at the time. We're talking like a year from now. I'm like, all right, rumors being a better, more energy efficient screen, possibly higher resolution, more memory in the system, but they are talking like kind of like hardware upgrades into this. And let's go with Predator. I know he's a big Nintendo fan. Let's talk to you first, man. What do you think about this rumor? Do you think that this is what's going to happen, and do you think it's about time for a refresh when it comes to the Switch, dude?
I mean, I don't use the Switch I have now. I mean, if they're not gonna like seriously like bump it up to like, at least 1080, 60, what's the point? I mean, I'd rather them just work on like their store and try and get some of their games like in a virtual, kind of like the virtual thing they had before with the other systems where you can just download games, old games and play them instead of like having just basically Switch games to deal with right now. So I don't know. I'm not a big fan right now of the Switch. I'm looking to get rid of mine anyway. I keep bullshitting with getting
Oh
rid
man,
of
you
it.
better sell it quick if this is true. Then
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if this is true, I'll keep my games and just get rid of the console, and then maybe later on down the pipe, if I decide to get in a Switch again. But I just don't see myself getting it. It's just, um, even the newer one. I mean, like, I don't use the one I have now, so I know damn well I wouldn't buy the second one.
now,
It's
no, well, Pred, I gotta ask you because they are talking like hardware improvements. I was on Crossfire last night and everybody was kind of downplaying it, saying that it's not going to be anything too crazy. What do you think they're going to do if they come out with a newer Switch? Do you think they're going to go all out, or are they just going to make little tweaks here and there, man?
I think it will basically have the same kind of concept that it has now. Maybe have like 3G or something like that embedded in it, where you don't have to have home Wi-Fi connected to it, and maybe an operating system, where you can actually get on the internet and get shit
like it doesn't have one right now. An
you know what I
operating
mean,
system,
like one that actually we can use for other purposes, like get on Netflix and shit like that.
Yeah,
Like, you
So
can't
not
do
connecting your phone to get online is what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. But I just don't see like dropping another $3 for that. When that should have been there at the start. Like, who doesn't have a handheld device, doesn't have some kind of Wi-Fi capabilities, to
Nintendo.
connect? Exactly. And it's like, I've said this before. I'll say it again. It's the biggest hustle ever, and Nintendo fucking did it. Like, they're selling you cardboard boxes. They're selling you shit like that should be there when you like. This is a console per se. There's no Ethernet port. It's supposed to be portable, but you have to have a Wi-Fi connection to play some games, but you can't do it. Unless you're like within a range of a Wi-Fi. Like, they should have a 3G thing on there. It's a portable device. It should work essentially almost like a fucking phone. But I don't know. I don't see myself picking it up. Like I said, I don't play it now, and I bought it at launch, and I have 4 games on it. I think maybe 5, and this thing only gets turned on to do updates. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I save your money, people.
All right. Well, how about this? Fred? One more question before I move on to the rest of the panel here. Now, a lot of people really feel like, the Switch just basically came out yesterday. Like, people feel like this is the newest, piece of gaming hardware. I can't call it a console, people. I cannot do it. But how do you think people? Do you think people should feel, I don't know, some kind of way that maybe by this time next year there's an upgraded version, or is this just kind of like the typical thing that goes on now in the console space, man?
Well, they've done this, with their other consoles. They come out with different versions of it, or their handhelds and stuff like that. So I don't see why this is such a big deal that Xbox did it. We've gotten the original Xbox, we've gotten the Slim, and we've gotten this bad boy, the X, and then we've gotten the PS4 Pro. I mean, like, so it's only, if we're accepting it with Xbox and PlayStation, why should we not accept it with Nintendo?
Yeah.
I just think if they're going to bring out something separate than this, it's got to be a shitload better than what we got right now.
So you want a bigger upgrade than what? Because like I said, a lot of people are trying to downplay it and say, oh, it's just like a brighter screen or something like that, which I feel like it's going to be more than that. But you feel like they really need to go all in and make this sucker like a lot better?
Yeah, it needs to at least, at the bare minimum, when it's not docked, at least do fucking 1060, 1080 60, and have a fucking Wi-Fi capability, like 3G or 4G or something like that embedded in it. At bare minimum. I mean, fucking let me have some apps on it. Let me search on.
Yeah, no, they ain't doing that.
Twitter.
You're
no
going to be
Netflix.
disappointed.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, and
so
if it's not that,
if that's what you're expecting.
then what the fuck is the purpose? A
I
bigger
think,
screen? I mean, like dual screens. I mean, like, does it fold over? Oh, I know what it is. It's cardboard.
It's cardboard. Yeah, they're going to make the whole thing, even the screen is going to be made out of cardboard. That's it. Wait in line, get ready to pick it up. Yeah.
I thought they were going to do the Labo Elite, which was made out of plastic.
But kind of like a not a high level production plastic, but a lower level production.
Like
plastic.
something like you use for like a 3-ring binder.
There you go, man. Yeah.
I don't see it's been winning NPDs lately. I mean, like it's still selling like hotcakes. Why bring this out now? You know, like it doesn't make any point. And it doesn't serve a purpose to me at this point. You know, it'd be different if the sales were slumping or something like that. I think they'd have to bring something that makes you want to buy it. Other than just
what was the release year of the Switch, by the way?
I was deployed when I got it, so it had to be like 2016, maybe 17.
I think
16. 16.
It was 16. See, I thought it was 17 as well. So, all right. I mean, that's about right in terms of what we look at now as a mid-gen kind of like refresh here. So, I mean, I'm not too like kind of like up in arms about it, man. I don't know. K Mega, I know you must be smiling right now because for people who've been following the show, you know your lady has been wanting a Nintendo Switch. Dude, you might have kind of like a reprieve until 2019, letting her know that, yo, girl, I just want to get you the most powerful Switch I can, and that doesn't come out until 2019. Are you looking forward to doing that, man? You can. You got it, dude. They gave
2017, by the way.
Yeah, no, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can get away with it.
No,
this time around, but I mean, you know, look, it's a
this time around. That means you've tried several times.
I have. You know what I'm saying? So I've been getting away with it, and then of course last year she wanted a cookie set instead. So I was like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? big boy got to eat. So I was like, okay. But anyway, it's. I'm gonna get one. You know what I'm saying? As a gaming fan, I want to try out Zelda and Mario and Luigi and all the rest of them. But
you don't sound too excited about it, man. You really don't.
Well, I mean, Pred just took all this. He should have let me go first because the Pred just took the wind out of the sails.
Well, Pred gave me gameplay first, so he got to go first, man.
Well, no, that's fine. I just, you know, it's just
that's
like
how it should work, right?
The enthusiasm.
The winner last week should go first.
Well, Showstopper's not here right now. We did show his gameplay in the beginning.
Yeah, I saw that.
Huge shout out to Show. We had a lot of fun last week.
You guys suck when you say
Pred's just trying to establish it now.
When you let the guest beat you. Anyway, I'm just
Oh,
guests always win.
Yeah, not all the time, but yeah, I guess so. Anyway, so look, I'm interested in it. I know that from when I was hearing when I was on GWG this morning was that. They're trying to take away the emulator aspect of it because I didn't know that you could add emulated games to the Switch, which I love that.
They hacked it real quick, man.
So yeah, and I mean to me that's just again Nintendo being anti-consumerism. I mean just throwing that in the pot and not wanting their older games to see the light of day to younger audiences. But it's the thing to me. It's like, I mean, I'm going to get it because, like I said, I'm a gaming fan. But this isn't screaming anything exciting to me, except it's just something else. Just, you know, I mean, the light enhancements. I mean, yeah, I agree with Fred. Like, it needs to be 1080p. Yeah, 1080p, 60 frames, or hell, 1080p, whatever frames. So just as long as you can bump it up to 1080p, I would be cool with it. But again, you know, it's still the same thing, and I'm pretty sure they're going to ask for the same asking price. So it might be beneficial for that to come out, and then when the older Switch will probably be at a cheaper price, and then I could just get that one. I mean, you know, it just seems like it's not going to be any difference. But knowing Nintendo, they'll probably both be the same.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Nintendo doesn't really drop prices on anything, man, to be honest with you. But, dude, we said it launched 2017. Do you think this is early? Like, it feels kind of rushed right now to come out with anything, even if it's a little bit better.
Strike while the iron is hot. I guess. I mean, maybe they have plans to do
Trade-ins.
something. Yeah, maybe they have plans to do something here in the next couple of years to where they might have an enhancement. I don't see them living off of the Switch for at least for another 3 to 4 years. That's impossible because by the time that the Scarlet comes out in the PlayStation 5, it's already being looked at by most gamers out there as like, I'm not even playing it. It was fun with the time, but you know, all these other good games is here, and then they're not on the Switch. So I think Nintendo they already started in a good position of getting third party. this time around. So I mean, to get more third party games and to get more people to get that console, that you have to have a more powerful system, at least to run the Assassin's Creed Odysseys and Tomb Raiders and things of that nature. So I think that this is just like their mid gen. And then I think in another couple of years, I say by 2020, that's when they'll probably reveal their new system that's going to be coming out as well.
That would be weird. Like, if they're coming out with an improved version of the Switch to be able to run games like Assassin's Creed or whatever, what happens to the people who bought into the Switch for like the first year and a half or so? Like they have to go in and get a new one.
It's no different than the people that were the first adopters of the Xbox One. And
they can still play any game that comes out today on Xbox One that they got.
I'm talking about it. I'm talking about at the launch of Xbox One, when it came up in the console was $500, and then next thing you know, Titanfall comes out 6 months later that it drops $100. So I mean that I know that you can still play the games and things like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the key thing I'm saying there, man.
Well, it's to me. I mean, we'll get into the other topic, but I think the big thing here is going to be backwards for its compatibility. And Nintendo is with their games being having all that nostalgia and just the classics, they're endless. It would just benefit them to have a better infrastructure so they could have people buy those older games on a better gaming network and go from there, in my opinion.
Yeah, you would think a company with such a like classic lineup would have a more kind of like lively ecosystem that right. can spread across hardware and stuff like that. So this way you can have kind of those classic iconic games like go to whatever Nintendo piece of hardware you're playing on and really, keep your consumer base happy when it comes to the retro and the classic games that they have come out with, man.
Right.
You would think that's a no-brainer, but then again, Nintendo does whatever the hell they want to do. And on that note, talking about people doing whatever the hell they want to do, let's go to the Don. Yo, Don, what do you think about possibly getting a newer version of the Switch around this time next year? Do you think it's too quick? And what do you think they could upgrade? I know it's hard to predict Nintendo, but what do you think they would upgrade if they do this, man?
Man, I see this just being like how they handle their Game Boys, to be honest with you. They always do all these like 2 or 3 iterations before they move on to the next variant, right? And this seems like that same formula.
But see, that would be weird because this is a console, in their opinion. So why would they do something that they would traditionally do with a handheld? Is what I'm trying to say here.
It is the world's most powerful trapper keeper. I'll say that. But that being said, I mean, I think they just they're going forward with where they've been the most successful, which is in the portable space. If you look at Nintendo, that's where they've seen the most success. So, far as I know, that's kind of where they're going with this. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just it just shouldn't be any news. Like if you follow Nintendo for any time or you're a fan of Nintendo, this is kind of what they do. In regards to, I don't perceive it playing anything close to this generation's games or anything along those lines. I
don't think they can come out with improved hardware to play newer games and kind of segment their community, like leave the early adopters out of it unless they upgrade. I don't think they would do that. I don't think they should do that. I don't think they really could do that in terms of kind of like mind share within the community, man.
Absolutely. And to answer Sleepy Goblin's question, no, I have no plans to release on the Switch for Project Pimp Cup. There's too much of a power deficit there to even consider it. It's just not. It's not practical to consider them, to be totally honest with you. So
I got you. Well, that is breaking news right here. By the way, Project Pimp Cup will not be going to the Nintendo Switch. So if you were rushing out to get one, thinking just hopefully Project Pimp Cup might go to that powerful handheld, guys, calm down. It's not going in that direction. Guys, let's move on to the next one because we're talking about something where a company normally does something that they're kind of fitting their mold here. Let's talk about a company that might be on the verge of doing something that a lot of people didn't think they were ever going to do. And it seems that the rumor is PlayStation Network is this close, and I'm putting my fingers almost touching this close to letting people change their gamer tags on their PS4. Let's go with K Mega. K Mega, he is a gamer that goes across platforms. Dude, what do you think? Do you think that they are really that close to doing this? And should this be? Are you excited? Should there be a lot of hype around them, like finally upgrading the infrastructure to get this done, man?
I'm excitement, no, but it's definitely necessary. I mean, it's been well over a generation. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's been 10 years.
People have been asking for a long time.
So yeah, and it's you would think that they would do that. I don't know why they never did. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, there was a lot of things that happened where some people got away with some things, I guess, what some people would say, or lied about it, as quotes about situations about what happened with the PSN with the hacking. But in all regards to that, I mean, it's long overdue. It needs to happen, and hopefully it does. It's finally telling you that people are listening, that Sony is listening to the fan base, or there's other agendas to it. So maybe they're seeing that gamers are really having a big deal about it, because I'm pretty sure in those forums that was probably one of the number one things. I mean, yeah, some people have said, well, it shouldn't matter. You shouldn't have wrote a stupid name back there. But if you was 10 years old,
yeah, no, if you were that young, man,
like that, yeah, and you wrote something of, you know what I'm saying, I like Jennifer Garner or something. I don't know. But, I mean, you kind of have a different perspective of what you want to put
Alyssa
on.
Milano's number one fan.
Right.
Hold on. I think that could still swing today, though. I think it can.
Yeah. She's still good. She's still good. Anyway, but no, it's just one of them things where you just, it needs to be changed. And of course, I'm saying, PlayStation it should follow suit of what Xbox has done. I mean, hell, they've done a lot of things what Xbox has done in the future. So there's no need to try to act like they're not going to try to do the same thing. I mean, that's not to try to throw shade. It's just the truth. I mean, this is something that Xbox fans hasn't had to really worry about. And so for PlayStation fans to get it, it's a great thing. If if it's still going, because it's still a rumor, but I do think that they're gonna.
You think it's gonna happen?
Yeah, I think it's really gonna happen. I think that the PlayStation 5 is gonna be pretty. It's gonna be a lot different than what a lot of people think.
Well, Mega, now check this out. Like, for them to do this, I feel like they have to go back and kind of redo the foundation of the PlayStation Network, and I feel like this is one of those core functions that has to be put at the basement level of that service. So for them to if and when they do this, to kind of restructure their PSN and get it to where you can change their name, I think that's a good move. It's showing something from Sony that we don't normally see. Now, Mega, I do want to read that according to the article, Kotaku got an image of kind of internal documentation that showed a screenshot, and basically the screenshot was a picture that said edit username. Now, it takes money on Xbox Live to change your gamer tag. What do you think would happen if Sony decides that they're going to let you do that for free?
Oh, well, that would definitely cause an uproar. That would be a stick it to them to the Xbox community. And also, I mean, you hear PlayStation fans, which I don't think a lot of Xbox fans really care that much about the whole free to play situation. I mean, Xbox should do it just to save face. But if you don't have to pay for changing your name, that would be crazy. But one thing that I could see is that PlayStation, because it's been so long, that Sony would allow everybody to change their name one time, and then after that they'll be able to charge.
Huh. So
I think that to me that just makes more sense.
Basically, what Xbox has then.
Right. Yeah, you can change your name once, and then then you'll get charged for any time that you feel like you want to change your name.
Hey, Mega, do you see the gameplay that's going on right now? I don't know if this looks familiar to you.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah,
Oh,
buddy. Dude, yeah, I'm surprised with how many times we have done gameplay. You know what I'm saying? That's what, it's one of the pillars of this show. We haven't really done that too much, yo.
No, we have not. I mean, that was an epic moment in that game.
Dude, this girl is creepy. That chick is creepy as hell.
Yeah, she's a beast. But yeah, she's dope. But the thing of it is that
I did mine better, man. We all know this. It's all good.
No, because I got other hotness on my gameplay, so I'm pretty sure that you're gonna mess
I
up
came in with
somewhere.
Wolfenstein right afterwards, man.
Okay.
Yeah, buddy.
Let's see what we're doing.
Yo,
All
guess
right,
what I don't? Guess what I don't have in my gameplay?
Oh, see, well now you might have a chance because you didn't play. You didn't show any damn Destiny.
No Destiny 2 is in my gameplay this week, man.
My God.
Yo, Don, what do you think about this PlayStation in terms of possibly, getting the gamer tags changed? Like, I know a lot of people have been asking for this for a long time. You heard what I said with K-Mega. I feel like they would have to go back into the basement level of PSN and kind of rework it from there. Do you think this is what's going on, and do you think it's coming out soon, man?
I don't do a lot of networking stuff, so that's the reason why one of my games, my game's not going to have online play. But that being said, this is a basic feature for anything. Like, it doesn't matter what the online service, anything. This is not even gaming. Like, it's just like this is something that should be built in the first place. The fact that it's taking this long, I don't think it's really right, because people make poor decisions, and this is just because people are human. So you got to have some sort of forgiveness built into your systems for your customers. So that's how I kind of look at it. However, I mean, do we continue to harp on them, or do we just, hey, let's do it, let's get it done, and let's provide something more for your customers? And I am more of, hey, it's in the past now, so like I'm not going to continue to rag on you, but I'm not going to, all of a sudden just give you a bunch of credit where you don't deserve it. You just need to get it done and do it for your customers, and kind of more or less kind of move on, because your gamer tag means a lot more now because it's tied to your whole entire gaming library. So it's not like someone's just going to abandon their account these days, right? Like, they're committed to this account, and if it's something that, the McLovin joke is always kind of the ongoing one. But I mean, even Greg Miller had an ongoing segment where people had really, really bad PSN names, and they would submit it in to help get the change made. And I've heard some awful ones, and people just don't think. That's what it really boils down to. So you need to get it done.
You're young. I mean, if you've been on the PlayStation Network since it started, you might have started a lot younger. You know what I'm saying?
I know 40-year-olds that make poor decisions and regret it. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, we're just human. It's just what it really boils down to. So, it needs to be done. I'm not going to continue to harp on them if they make the change. It's a welcome change, and but I'm also not going to give them a bunch of credit because they made the change. This is what they should have done a long time ago.
Hey, Pred, just to let you know, there's some fire gameplay coming up in a hot second, man. Just stay tuned for that.
I'm about to call you off or something in a minute, but that's fine.
Does it involve mud and possibly trucks?
No. Here it is right here. Guys, enjoy. It is a race done properly right now. But, Don, I have to ask you, the same thing I asked K-Mega, because the screenshot just said it, edit username. It didn't say anything about, like, charging or anything like that. Do you think it's possible for Sony to do this as a free option, or do you think they can do that, and do you think that they would? What do you think the impact would be if they did, man?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the impact would be, because what would happen, Xbox would just answer back. Like, the best thing Xbox could do, if that was the case, to answer back, is don't even say anything, just change the policy, and people find out about it later. Oh, it's been that way for a while. Like, just leave it alone. So I think people that have had to suffer for their name for, because people have their PSN accounts for a long time now, from PS3 era. having them be able to change it 3 or 4 times for free, kind of overdue. That kind of gives you that goodwill back that you should have had in the first place. Does that make sense? By doing it right? So. But I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. It seems like
I don't know in terms of like keeping track of people, because I know Xbox Live. I think they can definitely do it, because at the end of the day, it's all about the email that is attached to your gamer tag. I think that's what they use. That's what they track. That's what they follow. And I don't know if there's any algorithm in terms of when people report you or anything like that.
It depends on how the network's built. I mean, just really what it boils down to. So I mean, that's just kind of how they manage that. So I can see them doing that, but I can also see them charging for it. Like, I can see it really going either way.
Dude, I think $10 is a little too much, to be honest with you. On Xbox, let's be
real. I agree.
$10 is too much.
I kind of like they're, and I'll be honest, and this is going to sound like I'm defending Xbox, but I kind of like that there's a fee. Because there's nothing more frustrating when you game with somebody and all of a sudden a new name pops up and you have no idea who they are. Yeah, because you don't see these people on a day-to-day basis or anything. It's like all of a sudden, next thing you know, you meet K Mega and he's like weighs 100 pounds less. And you're like, where does K Mega go, right? Like, it just you wouldn't recognize the person, right? So that's the same sort of thing when you change the gamer tag. Like, you just don't recognize the person when they do that. So it's just weird.
I can definitely see that. I see a lot of confusion when going through your friends list. Like, I don't remember adding this person, and come to find out.
Me and Megan play with Tax all the time, and Tax, he's gone through this kick. He's changed his gamer tag all the time. I don't know if he's in the party or not.
Right.
So,
who'd you say? Tax? TAX?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Tax, you have too much bloody money. You need to come over and check out this show and hit up the super chat. That's what you need to do, man.
You just made his day if you heard that, because he likes to talk about his money. So
yeah, too much bloody money to keep doing that, man. Yo, Pred, what do you think about this? Do you think if it's true, are you kind of like in the camp of, damn, it's about time, and kind of move on from there? And then, of course, the question about, charging to change your gamer tag. If they don't charge you, what do you think that would mean for them as well, man?
I think the not charging part will probably be a bigger issue. Like, the name change thing should have been there. Should have been there in the first place. It's the option. Now, if you want to charge for it, I think financially, if I was running a company, as many people that have PlayStations and want to change their account, I charge you. I want that extra revenue, but I think if they didn't charge while Xbox does it, we're gonna go back into the whole debate about like how certain things are locked behind a paywall on the Xbox side, and that's just gonna add fuel to the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it is what it is. I didn't make a fucked up name, so I don't really care. It doesn't affect me. I guess it affects the guys who came out with too big for you name tags and shit like that. When they're fucking 40 now with a 3-inch dick, so they're like,
too big for you.
Yeah, people like that are the ones who really want to change their names. It doesn't faze me at all. I think it's just it's a customer service friendly thing to do it.
I can see Fred's PlayStation name tag. It's like loving Fred.
Yeah,
mine is it's the same as my Xbox. I didn't do anything weird with it, but if you're
Black Stallion, hoorah!
Yeah, right. Like that in like 15, and now you're like 40. That ain't. What's your gamer tag? Oh, it's long dong 4.
You have to whisper.
Yeah, you feel embarrassed for it.
I'll just write it down for you. Yeah, I'll just write it down for you. Right?
I'll just add you.
Yeah. He thought I'd just add you.
Hey, hold on a sec. I got a bone to pick with Xbox real quick. So I'm watching his footage here of Forza.
Yes.
And I'm curious of why you have logos in the corner of your screen, the bottom right hand corner of your screen, but none of us have that.
See, the thing is, the earlier the gameplay gets in, the more effects I can do. You see what I'm saying?
It's just an overlay. I'm just saying.
You see? Yeah.
We played the same games almost. Just curious why that's there on yours.
Yo,
but not
it's
on
funny. I
on
decided
this
to do something a little extra with my gameplay. I
one.
didn't
To
realize.
make yours shine a little bit more so you can get more votes. Is that
Please
what you're
listen
trying to
here. Good gameplay doesn't need to be dolled up.
say? Exactly. But I'm just saying.
Oh
like,
no! He
keep
said
let's
that
keep
at this
it on
point
even
in
playing.
time, guys.
Let's see what Don's gameplay looks like. See if there's any overlays for
There
him.
it is, right there.
There's no mud truck icon in the bottom right hand corner.
No, because they don't make that because nobody plays this game.
Find it.
Anyway.
Oh, man.
But, yo, all right.
Happy birthday, JT Gamer.
What happened?
JT Gamer says birthday. I'll say happy birthday to JT.
Oh, happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
brother!
Happy birthday.
Huge shout out to you, man. You already got your birthday cake right there, so I can't send you one. But yo, everybody, huge shout out to JT Gamer. It's his birthday today, and on that note, Mega, you said you wanted to talk about something. I wanted to read what you wanted to talk about, so why don't you break it down, man?
All right, cool. Let me go to it right now since she was over here. Okay, all right. So basically, there's something that was put up on a forum, and a lot of people were thinking about the what I guess it's Rocksteady, and they seen this whole Harry Potter thing, and people's like, "Whoa, really?" Well, there's also a Rocksteady has announced supposedly. Now, this is still a rumor, but supposedly announced it. There's a new Batman that's going to be coming, and they put this in full detail of what's this called. It's called DC's Arkham Universe. So we've got a release date of fall 2019. It's going to be on all the consoles except the Switch. Let's just put it that way. Single player, co-op, multiplayer. It says characters include the entire Bat family: Batman, Robin, Nightwing, Batgirl, Batwoman, Catwoman, Red Hood, and it says Gotham is about 1.5 the size of Arkham City. The districts and neighborhoods have gone through a complete overhaul. Gotham is now a living, breathing city. Set time, day, weather, overcast, even snow. There are random crimes such as car chases, bank robberies, muggings, and so forth. Main villain is Count of Owls. Story takes inspiration from the different Court of Owls storyline. Every character is available in free roam. Batman has a redesigned Batmobile transport only, and other characters have their cycles. So that's pretty cool. Batcave serves as main hub for upgrades, character swaps, new missions, game modes. Gameplay similar to past Arkham games, but there are new options for co-op, dual takedowns, and combat stealth. Stealth segments make you work together. Parkour has been expanded. Characters move a lot quicker and more fluent. Main gadgets are the same except for a new couple of additions. New enemy types includes talons, pilots, enemies that hover over battlefield. You have to either use a gadget or dual takedown to take them down. Talons are the same as the ninja types in Arkham Knight. They can counter your counters and also have their own gadgets, knives, throwing knives. Game takes place in Arkhamverse, obviously. So this is all the information that was put in, and I'm like, damn, somebody put a lot of effort in here if this is fake. Also, one notable point to this is that this game is going to be announced at the XO event. So, like I said, this is all a rumor, but if this is the case, I just wanted to hear you guys' thoughts on this. This sounds really badass because I'm a big fan of Nightwing. So I'm just going to start with you, Bot, and I'll let you take it over after that. What do you think?
Yo, dude, I you know me, man. I'm not a huge Batman fan. I can dig the movies and everything like that. When it comes to the games, I'm like, I'm not a big Batman kind of like nut when it comes to that. I've always been more Marvel than anything else. But having an open world and you said the name right there, Nightwing. Like that would be my character like right off the bat. Hearing kind of like the fluidity, better parkour, having the Batmobile pretty much for just transport. I think that's a huge thing right there. I think people got a little tired in the last Batman game. There was a lot of Batmobile kind of like
I was going to say too much Batmobile.
Yeah. So lightening that whole thing, making it, basically just transport, as I'm seeing Don get his truck stuck in a river. Oh man, Don, why do you play this game? But
exciting footage there.
Yeah, I know, right? But dude,
it's what the people ask for.
It sounds really cool. Now, I just don't. I'm seeing a trend that I don't want to see happen all the time. Like when it comes to superhero games, one of the first things they do, throw it open world. Because the Arkham series was successful. You see Spider-Man. I want to see a variety when it comes to superheroes as well. I want to see a more streamlined game. Really goes heavy into the story as well. I don't want them just to throw every superhero into an open world and be like, here you go, it's what you want. I want to see some creativity there. But I wonder, dude, because you said like Red Hood and stuff like that. How are villains gonna work going against a villain like that? That interests me right there. Is it like certain villains are gonna decide to team up with Batman on this whole situation? You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, I that part I don't know. Just the thought of just having to play with all those different characters, and they would make more sense. It definitely makes sense for people to play in co-op, and they can play with different characters instead of playing with two Batmans or just two different characters. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if the AI is going to be enhanced like that. It could be just where it's one of those things where the stealth takedowns are kind of like all the same or whatever. That part I don't know, but it sounds pretty damn epic. Because this is supposed to be the last Batman that they're going to work on.
Oh, okay, all right. So that makes sense. It's like
this is the Swan Song.
It's like the Halo Reach of the Batman series. Like,
right?
I can see that. I can definitely see that. And it's funny because when Halo Reach came out, at first it was heavily criticized, but if you look at it now, so many people say that's one of their favorite Halos as well. I think this has, if everything like what they're saying comes to fruition, it sounds like a great game, man. It sounds like a game that even, me not being into Batman that much, I might want to play. Hopefully they do announce it at XO. Phil did say, third party is going to be there in a big way. Mm-hmm. That would be a big way, in my opinion.
Definitely.
But that's what I got to say on it. I want to hear what everybody else, man.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead to Pred. But before I get to Pred, Don, this makes me think of work. I got this game now. I got the game now. So we're gonna have to do co-op. What is the black smoke
coming out the side? Like,
that's coming out the exhaust, man. He's going through mud.
You're killing that truck, dude.
That truck has got to let out that crude, baby, because it's got to push. You got to push out that bubbling crude. But what do you think about this, Pred? Do you think this is a bunch of hot air, or does this sound like something that you would be interested in?
I mean, they made the other one, so I mean, I it's got some validity to it. I just, with it coming out, being announced at the XO event, that kind of makes it seem like this has been planned for a while. Mm-hmm. Because we just heard about the XO event last week. I think it was last week, and now, we're starting to hear about the announcements that are coming there, like little leaks and stuff like that. So, I mean, there's some validity there. I mean, I thought Rocksteady was supposed to be working on a Superman game. Was that the rumor that was going around?
A lot of people were assuming that. Then, yeah,
and so
like some kind of
there was a Superman game rumor. There's a lot of rumors.
Yeah. So, if that is the rumor, if that rumor was any halfway true, or this rumor is true, that kind of debunk each other. I don't think they will be working on both. So one of the two is true, and I'm more inclined to believe the Batman rumor than I am the Superman one. To be honest with you, but I'm not a huge video game. Like a huge comic book guy. So, some of these
Pred, I could never tell that from you, man. Never.
I've said this before. So I mean, I picked up Spider-Man, but I mean, like, I'm just not a huge. I played the first Arkham game. I liked it, but it just wasn't enough to draw me back into the rest of them. So, I mean, I know there's a lot of Batman fans out there. So this is, I mean, if they announce it this year, when it comes out next year, I'm sure those guys will be happy. But I'm not a comic book guy, so it's not really a big thing for me. So I have to take a push on that one.
All right.
Yo, hold on 1 second. Don, do you see There is the best misspelling I've ever seen by Vladdy Putin when it comes to your game right there. Yeah, he meant mud, people. He meant mud. But that caught my eye for some reason. I don't know, man. But my bad,
on the brain. No. He just got some things on the brain. I'm like, you go ahead, bro. You go ahead.
Pod's got some issues you got to work out.
Yeah.
Penis demon.
Oh no.
Oh man, but yeah, no. I just wanted to go to you, Don. See what you thought about it. I mean, do you think that this has any validity, or is this something that's just a rumor and don't get your hopes up high?
Yeah, I wouldn't get my hopes up too high. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's that real.
God, you're a jackass. Why don't you let people feel like this is, come on. Okay, go ahead, man.
No, I'm excited for whenever we see what Rocksteady's been working on, because they've been quiet for a long time, right? And their games are top notch, and I look forward to playing anything they put out. But at this point, I'm tired hearing about rumors. It's been going on for.
Oh, you're gonna hear that a lot more, right?
It's been going on for 4 years for what they've been working on, and nothing's been consistent enough. And I think what you keep hearing is a lot of just fan service of what people want them to be working on. In regards to that, and the way I look at the Rocksteady is, I just trust whatever they're working at. Like just let them do what they're going to do, and I think that you're going to get awesome content. And they're overdue. The way this is laid out and how it's detailed, it doesn't seem real. If that makes sense.
You're a fan of Rocksteady, then? You think they're a talented group, and
pretty
much
absolutely.
Whatever IP they come up with.
I don't care. I don't care what they're working on.
Oh, nice.
Whatever they make, I will most likely buy.
Random thought: what if Microsoft bought them?
No, man, that would be sick.
Well, wait for the internet to burn down a little bit. Work out their
they would
issues.
have to want to be bought at first. Let's be real.
It's not them wanting to be bought. It would be Warner Brothers wanting to let them go.
They're under Warner Brothers? I
know they're completely independent. If last time I checked. And if you're Warner Brothers, do you want to let go Rocksteady?
No, but look. If that was true, that would definitely get me closer to my fantasy game, Mortal Kombat versus Killer Instinct. Let's do it, Microsoft. Buy them.
Didn't somebody from Mortal Kombat say that
yes,
was pretty
Ed
much
Boon.
Boone said it was in the works. Like,
no, he didn't say it was in the works. He said he would love to do it.
Do something like that.
Yeah. He was saying he would love to do that.
Well, and if you look at Microsoft and what they've been doing since the beginning of this generation, it's building up those relationships back, right? Yeah. So they've always had a good relationship with EA and I would say Ubisoft, but one of the ones I really feel like they've gained a lot of ground is Warner Brothers. So, it wouldn't be out of the realm whatever Rocksteady's working on to be at the EXO event. Like that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Mortal Kombat 11?
And I think they're overdue, right? Like when's the last time we've seen a Rocksteady game?
Oh damn! It's been a while, dude.
It's been a minute.
So they're overdue, and they're a talented group. So you trust them with any Warner Brothers
2015, something like that. 2015, 2016.
Yeah, I mean, you can really just transplant anything with that studio, and everyone will get fired up. Let's say you literally say, I want to take a character from Mortal Kombat. I want to do a Scorpion story-based game.
Will they do a Barbie title, though?
I bet they can make a Barbie title awesome.
Shout out to my boy Rand.
But imagine if they just took anything from Warner Brothers and give it to Rocksteady. It's like, here's Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. Make a story-based game off of that.
Dude, oh man, that
you would play that.
I'd be in line for that game, man. To be really honest.
Exactly. So you replace that with Nightwing or anybody from the DC universe. You're gonna want to play that. I would say the only one I probably wouldn't want to play is Superman, because I just, for the life of me, I can't figure out how you can make a Superman game great.
Yeah, he has to survive an entire city made from kryptonite. That's the only way, because otherwise he's invincible, man.
Yeah, just because his character flaws, all that sort of stuff, it just doesn't work in a game environment that I've seen out there. But you think about all the combat that we get today with kind of that it snaps from one character to another character and a block and an attack sort of thing. It all started with Rocksteady. It all started with the Batman in combat, right? So you give these guys some time. You let them come up with something fresh, which is what they did with the original Batman series, and you give them an interesting character. What are you gonna get? I mean, it sounds like a good recipe.
Don, you brought something up when you were like, when was the last time they dropped a game? And now that I'm thinking about it, an announcement for this to come out next year would definitely coincide with a good kind of like game development cycle of like 3 to 4 years. Like
it allows them to come with something new and fresh, right? And allows them
mighty Tekken. And yes, I play people. I don't just play the computer jack. This dude was giving me hell later on in this match.
Is that a Final Fantasy character in Tekken?
Yeah. That's I forgot what his name is. Nautis. Yeah, from Final Fantasy 15.
Did you have to pay for that, sir?
Oh yeah. I mean, he was part of the DLC, but but that dude was whooping my ass with Nautis, and then I had to get it together.
Nice, brother. Nice. I mean, all in all, I think the kind of like development cycle there points to a more, this could be happening type deal. Because I didn't think about that until the Don was talking about when was the last time we saw a game from these guys. And I'm like, hold on, about a good game development cycle ago. So, they should be ready to announce something. So,
yeah, it's more than a structured franchise like gap, right? So that's what's going on there. So yeah, I mean, they're overdue, and I look forward to whatever they're working on. I'm not interested in what fanfare type stuff there is out there. I just want them to see what they're working on.
Nice.
See gameplay. No CG trailers either. Just give me some gameplay.
Yeah, definitely. So hopefully, Mega said that the rumor is they're going to announce this at XO. For people who are out there on the internet, on social media, rumors have been swirling about what is going to be shown at XO 2018, the Xbox only conference. And one of the more recent rumors that's kind of gaining steam right now, people think in some form or fashion we're going to see Scarlet somehow. We're going to see the next iteration of Xbox One. We did talk about this a little bit on Crossfire, but I really wanted to come over here on Next because I wanted to hear, this panel's opinions on what they might show, if anything, when it comes to Project Scarlet or Xbox 2, whatever you want to call it. Let's start with Predator. Pred, have you seen the rumors lately? About possibly seeing Scarlet at XO. Like, what do you think people are meaning by that? I personally, I don't think hardware or anything, but there's people out there saying we might see hardware. People talking 2019 as a possible release. What do you think's going on, man?
I think XO will be really soon, especially with the holidays coming up. You don't want to announce something like that during the holiday season when that's around the same time that people buy consoles. I mean, think about it, that's when people shop. They shop around the holidays, and you buy shit like that. So if you announce a brand new console coming out in a year or two, I know Xbox kind of did this last year or a year when the S came out, but like, I think it's just bad timing. Some people are still saving up for the X, and then you're gonna be like, oh, we got another one coming out the next year. I think that's a little soon. I don't think it's. If anyone would do it, I think the PlayStation side would do it, but I don't think Xbox would do the Scarlet this soon. I don't see it happening.
Well, with these rumors, like I said, people are saying within these rumors, you see Scarlet, they announced a 2019 release. Now, I hear what you're saying in terms of the holidays, but let's just, for shits and giggles, let's talk about, the system that's going to be forwards and backwards compatible. Do you really think they feel like they need to sell Xbox Ones this holiday, or really go for the software and like Game Pass and stuff like that, man? I think it would be viable that way. I think
like the software and Game Pass part of it, yes, but the hardware side of it, I don't think that's viable right now. I think they'd be better off just saving that for E3 again, like they did last, like with the X. Just don't announce it now, especially with the holiday season coming. Like if you don't have an X right now and you've been saving up for an X, and they come out and say, "Oh yeah, we're we're coming out with the Scarlet
Saving some
in
more.
2000. We're coming out with the Scarlet in 2019. Are you gonna get the X now, knowing that you got something else coming down the pipe in another year?
That is a great point right there. I think at the end of the day, when it comes to Xbox, they don't really care what hardware you have. I don't think they really even care about hardware sales going into, the new hardware kind of like launch, whether it's 2019 or 2020. But
Well, think about this too. Like they just came out with that whole deal that you get where you can like basically buy it, using credit recently. Like, why would they go against that
to nab
right
you
now?
to nab the consumer?
I don't know. I think it's a little soon. I don't think that rumor is viable, to be honest with you.
Oh, so you don't think the rumor is true whatsoever then?
No, I don't.
All right, cool. Let's go to K Mega. I think you might have some things to say on this. 2019 possible seeing Scarlet on XO. What do you think, brother?
I mean, I don't really see it happening, but I'm going to be a little different on this for what Pred is saying, just because of the fact of what you said behind that, about Xbox doesn't care about the hardware aspect of it, because they know that they're going to have they're already coming out with different tiers. You see what I'm saying? So like with this stream box that they're going to come with, that's going to be affordable and cheap. You still have the S, you still have the X. To announce it, the one thing I do agree with Pred on that is that it would still kind of weird. But if this show is not like televised all over the place, then it's only going to be seen by the hardcore, not the casual. So I don't think that they would be affected by that. The X is going to drop in price anyway, so they could get good deals on that. And then you got to think about the bargain shopper that cares more about not spending to get the best, but spending to get the most affordable, get the best out of their buck. So the X or the S would be viable for them and not worry about the Scarlet. So if they do it, then I mean, like, damn, because
get ready, right?
E3 is going to be insane, because they over here like, we're getting rid of the whole topic about console. We're going to be nothing but games, because that's one of your that would be one of your big closeout spots for E3, is to show the Scarlet. So if you show it now, then that means you are highly confident about what the games that you're going to be pumping out at E3. So I guess you would say the fan in me of Xbox would love to see them show the Scarlet and let it go away. You know what I'm saying? So we could just talk about that and start 2019 in a positive light. But then yet the reality is just like, nah, that's just not what we've been knowing to see what these console companies do. So I don't see it, but it would be fantastic if that would happen. That would throw a loop into everything.
Now, I do have to say, because I've been thinking about this in terms of hardware development, and I got to ask you, like, you look at both companies. You look at Sony, you look at Microsoft, you look at what we can only kind of guess what they've been doing with R&D. I feel that with Xbox coming out with the X and kind of creating that infrastructure to where you can drop in more powerful CPU, more powerful GPU, I feel like they put themselves in a spot further ahead in development. And in my opinion, I feel that if anybody is going to come out in 2019, I feel like Microsoft and Xbox would actually have that edge. So, Mega, what do you feel about me thinking that way? Does that sound like common sense, or do you think I'm just like talking a lot of hot air there, man?
I mean, it's kind of hot air, but I mean it's not so much. I mean, look, we have been off about Xbox's strategy this generation for the most part.
A little bit.
Yeah, we've been off. Like we when we think that Xbox is not going to do shit, they throw it at you. When we're thinking that they're going to just light it up, they don't. So I would be, like I said, I'm not going to be totally surprised if they showed something like that. But just by the way that these businesses have been operating, and it's like somebody in the chat just said that, look, I mean, the X is still a powerful, viable console. Why would you want to forget? Why would you want to kind of overlook that with the with the Scarlet. But like I was saying, I mean, gamers
look at a
know
price
what
cut.
they want.
They'll announce a price cut for the X as well.
That price for the X would be insane. Like then you really have true options for whatever that you want, and you still have great quality with the X. And for us, the Scarlet is going to be around the corner too. Oh my God! Like I mean, Xbox is not playing around. So like I said, I would love for them for the fan in me. Yeah, I had to. I almost died. But anyway, I got to get the vote just because I'm doing Prince of Persia, man, in an Assassin's Creed suit. You know what I'm saying? That this is for Halloween, y'all. Anyway, so but yeah, no, I agree to a certain extent, but not all of it. I'll give you 50-50.
No, I was gonna say one more question, man, and I'm gonna put you under that heated light right now. All right.
Okay.
All right. The thing is, you hear the rumor. You have to come to a conclusion. You got a bet going with somebody. It's either yes or no. What do you think? Are they going to show Scarlet? And do you think 2019 release showing it at XO in November, man? Which way are you going? Yeah or no?
No.
No? All right.
No.
Cool. I guess that wasn't as much of a hot lamp as I thought it was.
No.
But all right, well, Predator, what do you think about these rumors, man? I want to know if you think this is plausible. Hold on, didn't I already ask you?
Yeah, you already got me.
I was going to just let him roll.
He's stunned by
that.
He's stunned by this gameplay, baby.
I'm more stunned why you jumped off the edge.
I'm just wondering if this is PC or not. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
The button, he just jumped off, man. He just jumped off.
Oh, look at this gameplay right here, though. Yeah, I have a better suit on, by the way, on my gameplay.
So much begging for votes.
It's not begging. I'm just pointing things out and letting the community vote for who they feel has the best gameplay. But
also no overlay over there.
Yeah, no overlay, and look at this quality that I'm pumping out, man. Come on, what's going on?
Anyway, Don.
Overlay, which is hilarious.
Yo, these guys are freaky as hell.
I want my fucking overlay, goddammit.
All right, next week, Pred. Just get me the gameplay before Saturday, okay? But check this out, Don. What do you think about this, man? I know we've kind of been, trying to track the hardware as close as we can. We don't really have inside sources. We don't have anybody, really coming in and giving us any credible information. Do you think it is possible for Scarlet to be shown at XO and possibly come out in 2019? Now, I do remember, I believe somebody from Xbox, Phil Spencer, whatever, I believe they said something about coming out, first with new hardware. So what do you think, man?
Why would you announce it at an XO event? What's the motivation there?
Hype with your consumers, get people in gaming media talking about your announcement as well, gaining momentum in terms of a wave of people going in and kind of looking this stuff up.
Why would you use your ace up your sleeve for the small game?
I mean, like, I hear you and I understand you, and it makes a lot of sense.
So that's kind of where I'm going with this. Like,
but
here's the thing: is if we were going to believe all the rumors, which I only believe about 10% of what I'm hearing, which is now ever since we knew about the XO event, people have said, all right, we're going to hear about 2 new studios. We're going to hear about hardware. We're going to hear about exclusive. Everyone is describing something bigger than their E3. It's about tempering those expectations.
Oh, people are describing the biggest show ever in the gaming industry.
Oh, shit.
Bar none. Like, people are going in.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy. That's exactly where I'm kind of coming from on this. Like, we know they're working on hardware, and it's no, even if they didn't say anything, we know they're working on something. What it does is it squashes the rumors about just streaming only. They're doing streaming and local hardware. I can see them maybe showing some of their streaming services at this thing, because that's like, it's kind of a different platform altogether, even though it's part of the same ecosystem or family of devices like we hear about. So I can see that possibly happening. I can see them maybe showing something, but it's not going to be bigger than their E3 showing. There's more eyes watching E3. You have more impact on the industry. What you do at E3 than you do it like at a fanfare is what this is. So I'm excited for XO. I'm excited for what we're going to see, and I'm okay with waiting until E3 to see what their hardware is.
I got to be honest with you, Don. Like at the end of the day, I know I'm trying to play the hype man here and trying to put some credibility behind a 2019 release and everything. But when XO was first announced, I was one of the first people to be like, you know what? I am going in with lowered expectations, just because if we lower our expectations and then they show us a bunch of craziness, we will be that much more hyped. We will be that much more content with what we've seen.
I'll be happy if they put half of what they did into E3 into the XO event.
Yeah,
why
does Xbox get so kind of like hammered for their E3s when, the past few E3s to me have been quality really shows, man.
They didn't get. I don't know who hammered them. I mean, at E3, people, that was the buzz at E3 out there.
Well, that's the difference between being there and versus being in the echo chambers out there.
Yeah, everyone was buzzing about that. We was on the PlayStation on the PlayStation floor, and they were talking about Xbox. So that was the thing right there. That it just there's no question who won the day out there at E3, no doubt.
Yeah. I'll say this one last little thing. I think if they're just coming out with just a streaming box and that's all it's going to be, then maybe they announce that this year at XO. If that's all they're doing.
And I can see that. Like they'll reinstate that they have a more, the Scarlet is coming out, and then I'll cover their bases, and then they show their streaming service how it works for a certain segment of their customers. Get people to actually use the service. As well, like at the actual event, so they get to try that out firsthand.
Yeah, maybe Scarlet isn't the actual console. Maybe it's a streaming service, kind of like what Amazon's doing.
No, because Scarlet is a console.
That Scarlet is a console, so they're doing both.
Yeah,
they're fully invested in both. And I've heard the two pieces of hardware. The second piece of hardware isn't their streaming device; it's actually another piece of hardware.
It's a Kinect 2.
So
Kinect 3, man.
This is what I mean, and I don't know if it's true or not. Like, I want to check some references and stuff like that for people to just run away with the rumor, right? Like the streaming service is still happening, but when he said multiple pieces of hardware, he's referring to truly multiple pieces of console hardware that you put under your television. That's what the new buzz is behind the scenes.
I'm not sure how it a Scarlet Cloud and a traditional system, I feel would be enough for the launch of new hardware. I don't think we need, because when you say something like that, I'm thinking more or less like kind of like in between the ranges right there.
It could be something like whatever Scarlet Elite. We don't really know. It may not be like a GPU CPU thing, but maybe more of like really fast onboard memory, like the M.2 stuff, or that'd be really expensive. But you get where I'm kind of going with that. Like it could be more of
I say stick with in my personal opinion. I say stick with 2 because I feel like the 2 systems have their hook. With the Scarlet Cloud, you have the streaming service. With Project Scarlet, just that one system. You have your traditional, and then over time, if you want to put in kind of like mid-range iterations or anything like that, feel free to do that. But I feel as like an official release, they should probably just stick with 2 devices. That's
to be honest, whatever they're doing, it's well in development. That's all I know. Right. So like regardless of what we would tell them, that's just where they're at. I mean, forwards and backwards compatibility. You have S, you have the X. So like
Dad said, it might be a naked woman.
When they're talking about family devices, they're talking about like a family like we see out here in Utah. It sounds like a pretty big family. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm excited for what they're going to show at XO. I mean, if they show half of what they do at E3, I think that's going to be a bomb show in regards to that, and it carries momentum into the next year, which is the big problem for Xbox, and that's the reason why I think they're doing XO. They've always had this weird sort of thing after Christmas. the naysayers kind of come out of the woodworks, right? They feel a little more comfortable.
Positivity kind of dies down a little bit. You get
that's when we heard about
cancellation of Scalebound. all that,
Scalebound,
yeah.
exactly, is one of those things that happened that time frame. So I think they're trying to put efforts to maintain that momentum through that period.
I got you. I mean, at the end of the day, for people who like, getting into shows about games, hearing announcements and stuff like that, you're getting an extra show this year. You know what I'm saying? If you are an Xbox gamer, if you play on Xbox, you have an interest in the platform, and you like getting into these kind of like conferences and shows, I mean, there's an extra show for you this year, so that should get you hyped up in and of itself. I don't know. I'm excited. Like I said, I'm gonna stay kind of like lower expectation, but I knew I had to be the hype man talking about that topic. I had to be the one who kind of is like, oh well, maybe. But at the end of the day, I gotta stick to my guns. It's 2020, both systems. But with speaking about both systems, one of my friends on Twitter, actually sent me something kind of crazy in terms of the PlayStation 5, and I am gonna shout out my boy Eric Cordero for sending me this article just today. There it is. PlayStation 5. It seems that Sony has put in for a patent. I'm going to read some of it right here. Sony Interactive Entertainment America, LLC, has filed a new patent on October 2nd. And basically, it sounds like they are going with forwards and backwards compatibility. Now, before I get into this, I want to read kind of like what this entails real quick. So, Don, I am gonna go to you first because you have kind of like knowledge of gaming industry wording. I want to see if you think this is talking about forwards and backwards compatibility. This is coming straight from the patent itself. It says each asset, such as a texture, called for by legacy software, such as a legacy computer game software, has a unique identifier associated with it. The unique identifier can be rendered by imposing a hash on the asset, and then the asset stored with its identifier in a data structure. An artist remasters the texture presentation on a higher resolution display than envisioned in the original software, and stores them back in the data structure and with their identifiers. Basically going on to state that once all that happens, when the game is run on a piece of hardware, it can run at a higher resolution and a higher texture resolution as well. And it is for an emulation to do so. So Don, with hearing my broken reading here, it definitely wasn't smooth whatsoever. Now, in your opinion, does this sound like a patent that would go for forwards and backwards compatibility when it comes to the PlayStation 5?
Yeah, it 100% does.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well,
because if you think about I'll give you like a real life example. Okay, I have a model, and I have different performance profiles that I need to set up. So I need a way to identify this texture is, say, for this particular piece of hardware. These textures are for this piece of hardware. These textures and this shader, you just build it up in layers, right? And if the hardware can do it, I have a preset already dialed in for that. So so you recognize the hardware. So hardware and software are communicating. Hey, you have this hardware with this software.
So this identifier matches with that. So we're using this texture instead of the other. Oh, I see.
So that's put in layman's language and what's going on there. But the same sort of things do exist on the X and the S today. So it's basically their OS being able to do similar things. So that's a good thing, because here's the thing, and I've been very adamant about this, that everyone I know in the industry wants forwards and backwards compatibility from Sony. They didn't know if they were going to get it. Because Sony was really quiet about it. So we don't know if they were working on it or what's going on. And this could be a patent that just shows up and they decide not to do it. Like, this doesn't guarantee they'll do it.
I feel if they have a way to do it, they need to do this.
I think so. I think so too, because it gives them the advantage at that point, right? So, in nobody that develops on the PlayStation side of things wants to start over. They want that install base. They don't mind making, they're already making games that are more powerful than what we currently have on consoles today. So, I mean, it's already being done as we speak. So, having that forwards and backwards compatibility, it makes sense. If there are software teams that were been privileged to this information and I didn't know about it, this is for me first time hearing about it, but the language makes sense.
Yeah, and that's why I went to you first, man. I know when it comes to the language aspect of it, you being a developer, working in graphics, being in that environment, I know.
I mean, what I say makes sense to you guys. I mean, you understand what the reason why they tag it. Just like, I hate to simplify it to Twitter, right? But just like when you put a hashtag on something, you can search that hashtag. It's more complicated than that, but you get where I'm going with that. So.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
All right, well, let's go to K Mega. What do you think about this news, man? Is this Are you hyped to see that if when the new hardware comes out, they will both be forwards and backwards compatible? And I got to ask if you think this was something that Sony planned, or do you think that they saw Xbox kind of touting forwards and backwards compatibility, and they kind of had to run back to the planning session and try to get something that could match with that, man?
No, I don't think Sony planned this. I
don't think so either, dude.
I think exactly. I think that they've said this before, that they did not expect the PlayStation 4 to be as popular as it was. And so once they seen that the popularity was there and that they have this huge installs base, it would be insane. And I've said this a million times for them not to do backwards and frontwards capability, because of the fact that you want to keep, like Don said, you want to keep those gamers still on your console. You don't want them to go anywhere, and you don't want, while you already have the part of the market share, especially in Europe, they have I think 63%, to alienate those people that don't buy a PlayStation 5 and still keep their PlayStation 4. I kind of figured that they were going to do this when they brought out the PlayStation 1 Mini, because the question that I always asked was, if they do backwards capability, how far back were they going to go? Now I know that they're only going to do PlayStation 4 capability, PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3. They're not going to go They're going to have a PlayStation 1 Mini, and they're going to have a PlayStation 2 Mini.
I think why not do both if they can? Because then it gives the consumer the option to have the full nostalgia experience, or just play on your new console. Like, I don't think they're going to cannibalize one another.
Well, they're really not if they have a PlayStation 1 and a PlayStation 2 Mini. And the fact of it is that those older games, who's to say that those PlayStation fans are going to buy those games if they're available? But they'll instead buy a PlayStation 2 Mini for nostalgia reasons, and then they could jump up the price like they did with this PlayStation 1 Mini. So having games from 3, 4, and 4 would be probably the best bet for them. Now the question.
Let me throw this out to you, K-Mega, because I get what you're saying. Like, and there's logic to that. But what about their services? They want to compete in the service space as well. So doesn't opening what they can do in back compatibility kind of beef up that library for them and be more competitive? It
can, but they would only. But see, this is the thing. PlayStation has so many different games that other gamers enjoy. Like, they would only have only thing I could see them doing is bringing out their greatest hits and put them on PlayStation Now. Not like, for instance, like somebody that likes Legend of Legaia. I don't see Legend of Legaia being a backwards compatible game. You know what I'm saying? For $14.99.
I mean, that's true.
I don't see that.
But so if the developer doesn't have to do any work, if they take the similar approach to what Microsoft's doing, it's just about asking permission for the license.
Yeah, but Sony's a little bit different when it comes to that compared to Microsoft. See, Microsoft is going to be more on the fan service of trying to get gamers back. PlayStation
this generation they are because of what happened, man.
Right, and so PlayStation fans is look how long it's taken for them to do the name changes.
So you think it's a pride thing? You think they feel like they don't have to, so therefore they
Right, and,
Gotcha.
and for them to make more money, they could just make a PlayStation 2 Mini, which is the most sold console of all time. That would bring waves. They would make a lot of money. I might even buy it according to what kind of games they have on it. But the thing of it
like
is,
how many games can from the PlayStation 2 era can they put on a Mini now though?
right, and
You know?
also, well, they could put a tons on them on there. But
They got 20 on the PS1, the PS2.
They can put a hell of a lot more on there. But see, this is another thing that they're taking a page from Nintendo, and they're trying to stop emulation. This is what this is all boiled down to for those older games, because those games are basically free that you can get on PC. So what they're trying to do is alleviate anybody to try to get emulated games.
They're trying to make money on their emulating.
Right.
There is an emulator. They did point that out. So
right. So again, the question that I'm going to have is what is Z and them going to do now when they have made this big argument about Xbox doing frontwards and backwards capability, and now PlayStation might be doing the same thing. It's going to hold them back. And the one thing that cracks me up about that is because if you just look at how PC operates, is PC fans being held back if they have a more powerful
they talk about it in the patent in itself and how it works, how it breaks down. It's just accessing different level of assets for your game and how it's organized.
That's basically what
it
Microsoft
just shows how ill-informed
and
how people just don't pay attention to the real facts, and they just run with bullshit. That's the thing right there. Is like, what are you going to say now if PlayStation goes this route, which I do think that they're going to do. It's the smartest decision, and it's going to basically come down to what it's always should have came down. It's the games and the services between both companies.
In defense of people that they think like that, there's truth to that. It just depends on what year you're talking about, if you know what I mean. So if you're talking about PlayStation 2 era, like when we're coming out with new consoles, there's 1% truth to that statement. But where we're at today, where we're not hitting a glass ceiling. I mean, we still have room to go, but we're pretty close to it, if that makes any sense. So realistically, the limitations between these pieces of hardware, there's not that gulf that prevents you from being able to scale what you have to make it work. So there's truth to those statements. The problem is it's just out of date mentality.
Absolutely, yeah.
The
Barney Rubble mentality. That's exactly what I call it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing for me is that it's going to finally get back to what.
How did these guys hear me vape? I was so far away from the mic at that point in time, man.
They hear your footsteps.
Yeah, they hear these crazy things. I just want to make one more thing before I get to Pred, because I know Pred's like, damn, nigga, you're going way long.
He didn't play the music yet. You're good.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
Don't remind him. He'll do it.
He will. So I just wanted to say, it's going to be funny to me because PlayStation fans they've done this flip-flop, and Xbox fans as well, with the whole power narrative, and then it's about the games. But when Xbox come with their games, and PlayStation is going to probably they're going to come with some games, but they're not going to come with the games that what Xbox is going to come in the beginning of this generation. It's going to be the same thing that happened in 2013. Xbox is going to come with a whole bunch of games, but this time that Xbox is going to be probably the most powerful console. So what is going to be the narrative then? And like I said, it's only come down to the how good these games are and the services within these these consoles.
Being honest with themselves. I mean, that's right. Going to end up having to be right, because you hear all the arguments and you're like, really, are you guys really being that honest with yourself, or are you trying to force people to think the way you think? You go forward. It's just it looks like Xbox is possibly may have the cheapest option and the most expensive option. And you get what you pay for, regardless of however you want to play it. And your investment is protected. So when you buy something, regardless of what option you want to go with, it's going to work with it.
This is, to me, if they do the forwards and backwards compatibility, like in this patent, this is absolutely huge for Sony. All right?
It's a win.
Yeah,
it's a big win
because
for them.
They can come out with the PS5, and this is another thing. It comes down to the hardware sales numbers will be a thing of the past all the way around as well, because I know the Sony extremists will point out 80 million PS4s and they'll still be able to play these games. What you guys think about that or whatever? But at the end of the day, it really puts in kind of like in the front seat, in the driver's seat, that it's about the software. and really bringing it back to the games is one of the things that I know I have been waiting for, like this entire generation. I've been waiting, to talk about, this game better because of this and whatnot, and we always went back to resolution, and people started playing their favorite game called Sales and stuff like that. With these companies going in the same direction, which I think there is a chance now, it brings it back to the games, and that's something we have been waiting for so long, man. Oh my goodness. Predator, what do you think about this this patent? In terms of news within the gaming industry, what do you think it means for Sony, and do you think that they're gonna do this, man?
I think they'll do it because they see the success Microsoft is having with it. I'd be a little pissed if I was just only a PlayStation owner, for the simple fact that, a lot of the games that were popular on PlayStation were remastered, and those people who wanted those games bought them. They've given us, some of those Sony fans have given some of us Xbox guys so much grief over playing old games and da-da-da. And here they
that's
are.
That's going to change now, man.
Yeah. The goalposts are moved. But, I mean, as a gamer, I'm glad they're doing this. If that's the route they go, I hope they decide to make this push and figure out how to do this. But I think it's a fan-friendly service for them to do it, even though it seems like in the beginning they either didn't know how to do it or didn't care to do it because they didn't think that's what the fans wanted, or it wasn't something that they saw as profitable.
I don't think it's something they wanted to invest in the beginning, man.
I don't know who it was. If it was Sean Layden or somebody, it was like, that's not what fans want. And
that was Andrew House.
Andrew House, yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm misquoting him, but basically he had to basically said that that's not something they're going to do because that's not.
Yeah, it's a submarine moment.
So I mean, and now they're doing it. So I see that maybe they're looking and seeing how things are going with Xbox doing it and how popular having some of these games come back, like the Call of Duties and the Splinter Cells and the Ninja games. Like it brings, a little bit of insight to the Xbox side for stuff like that. Like that's one little nugget they don't have on the Sony side.
Well, Pred, here's the deal. This is what I'm looking at. Yeah, I see a lot of people are focusing on the backwards compatibility. I'm focusing more on the forwards compatibility, having games that drop, when PS5 drops, and if gamers can't afford the new hardware, they can still get like that Last of Us 2. You remember how we were talking, is The Last of Us 2, is it a next-gen title, or is it a PS4 title? And people are like, oh no, it's coming to PS4. Now, you can see that if they do the forwards and backwards compatibility, Sony, in the way that they market things, can say, yeah, no, it's a PS4 title, even though they're planning to drop it during the PS5 era. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, and we're still kind of new to this forward compatibility thing. Let's see what happens when the Xbox 2 comes out, and if those games will work on the Xbox One X. I know what Phil says, but I want to see that.
They will. It's not going to be parity at all, though, in terms of like graphics and everything like that, man.
I just want to see it implemented first by somebody before I just go down that rabbit hole, because like we say that now, but there's always a caveat that we don't know about that they've not told us about. Like,
well, we got the Don here, and Don, can you iterate? Like, we've been talking about, we think it's possible forwards and backwards compatibility. The only thing I'm saying is don't expect, the game on Scarlet to really kind of look like, or the game being played on the Xbox One don't look like the game being run on the newer hardware with Scarlet, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a visual thing. That's what you scale back, right? I mean, people keep talking about, we want bigger worlds. Worlds are getting bigger all the time on base hardware. Like, it's almost to a point where
they're using cloud to add to that and everything like that as well.
Yeah,
man.
So there's someone, and that's
reviewers are complaining about these big worlds. That's what's crazy.
Exactly. we have people that do complain about it because there's not as much direction, or so like we've run into this. We have a lot at our fingertips, right? The really is it's the visual ceiling that we're talking about at this point. I would say in gaming. I mean, if you think about like, hey, well, I can add all these physics. Well, does the physics drive the controls of the game? No, it's just added visuals. Then scale it back. I can do this texture. Well, cool.
Cool.
Is it part? Is it part of? Does it make or break the gameplay? No. Then you can scale it back. Talk about, we just played in Forza Horizon. You imagine if like they made the foliage even more dense on the next console. Is it fundamentally crucial to the gameplay? No, it's not. You can scale it back. And so these are all things that help on the draw core side of things, which is CPU.
Just like the PC. Just like the PC.
GPU side. Yeah, we're just at this certain point. We're almost there last gen, just so people know. But we're here now where like I don't perceive even several pieces of hardware ahead of this that you have to ditch the old hardware. I just don't. I mean, you can get what you paid for, but but that's where kind of where we're at. Going forward, because all this stuff can be scaled and it's all being developed on more powerful hardware than you have under your television, and probably the next one under your television. I mean, so it's just. We have a 2080 Ti coming in next week. That's going in my development rig. How long is it going to go before we have a GPU like that on our console? It's going to be a while. But everything that's developed on that, it's going to be able to go down all the way down to the S if I wanted to. Not a problem.
Yeah. And that's the one thing about it that it's that I don't think a lot of people are grasping is that, okay, just look, for instance, the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 era, and how long it took before you actually seen the limits of that hardware being pushed to where it was done. There was nothing else that they could do. I mean, for instance, Halo 4 and the last.
That is the prime example. Halo 4. People could not believe that game ran on a 360.
And we're talking about damn near almost 10 years into its life cycle. And just imagine what the Xbox One S and what the Xbox One X can achieve 6-7 years from now. And then, the Scarlet is just now getting started. The PlayStation 5 is just getting started. This whole theory of that it's holding the hardware back because they can't push the newer system is a bunch of bullshit. It's just all about the devs learning to go all the way to the metal and make sure that they, and tinker those things. It's not going to affect anything else if you have the more expensive or the better system.
The crazy thing is they complement one another. That's what people don't understand. Right. So I'm like, I want this game to run really, really good on the base model consoles, say basic PlayStation and the original Xbox. Okay, I'm going to optimize the model more. I'm going to scale back the tessellation that makes up the model. But my goal is to scale back the tessellation of the model, but not make it visually seen by the user. So I know what's going on, but you guys don't know what's going on behind the curtain. And next thing you know, I created that optimization. It works better now on the base model console. Guess what? I've just now created more overhead for the more powerful hardware as well.
Yeah.
So the two actually complement each other and don't take away from one another. And, this is just one of those things to look forward to because this allows Sony to release hardware whenever they feel like it. This allows Xbox to release hardware.
Oh, that's dangerous for Sony. From their practices, that's dangerous. But yeah,
what I'm saying is they can do whatever they want, and obviously they have to sell enough to justify the R&D that went into that hardware. But as long as their costs are being covered by enough adoption there, then the users can do whatever they want, and the people that make the hardware can do whatever they want, and basically the free market determines the demand of all that stuff.
See, I see the reason why I'm excited here is because the two front runners this generation are moving into newer hardware, and they might be moving in the same direction. And I know a lot of people out there, they get caught up in console wars and my preferred piece of plastic needs to outdo yours and stuff like that. And I thought before this patent, I was like, you know what? Sony is going to be left in the dust. I looked at their track record when it came to music, when it came to movies, and I was like, man, they just get stuck in one era and they don't evolve with the industry. Now there's a chance that they're going to evolve, and at the end of the day, I want to see PlayStation there, with new hardware, for generations to come or for years to come. And we have Amazon and Google kind of creeping in getting ready to jump into the console space as well. And I was always like, man, if those two companies jump into the same space, all of a sudden Sony is the little fish in the pond. And I'm like, I don't want to see, I don't want to see them getting kind of like run down, getting kind of stepped on, and have the industry move on without them, because they've been such a part of the industry to begin with.
Well, let me ask you this, Spot, because I know you've been thinking about selling your PlayStation 4 because you don't play it enough after Spider-Man, right? Now that you're seeing backwards and forwards capability is maybe a possibility, maybe, PlayStation's not your main console, but does it make you think twice about selling your hardware now because you don't really have to?
I didn't even think about that, but like with you bringing it up, there's a chance. There is a chance. There's certain things about PlayStation games that are kind of off to me. I don't know what it is. First off, like dealing with this controller, if I can get the adapter for my Xbox controller,
$60. I'll send you the link of what it is.
I'll be a lot.
Me too.
I'll be a lot happier then, because I'm sorry, anybody who puts their name behind the DualShock 4 and says that this thing is made from quality parts and quality plastic, I have no idea what you're talking about. All right, because this thing, I don't play the PS4 that much, and I already went through 3 controllers, guys. 3 controllers on my PS4. There is no way. I play my Xbox every single day, all right? And I don't go through controllers like that. So they would have to do something there. If I could get the adapter, that would be great. But it gives my PS4 a chance to stay here now. With the games like Last of Us 2, Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, games like that, I don't necessarily have to get the PS5 like right off the bat.
So that's what's important to PlayStation. That's what I'm trying to point out.
And it makes sense. It makes business sense, man.
They don't care if you buy the latest one or you have the base one. They care is you're involved in their ecosystem and you're buying their games.
Buying the software.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, Pred, would you like to chime in on this?
No, we've been on this topic too goddamn long.
Okay, all right. Well, move on. Let's move on.
Great topic. This is a great topic.
Let's move on to, I think it's the last topic we got. Amazon has had a closed beta for their open world game, and I guess somebody didn't sign the NDA or something like that, and they put out over 2 hours of footage about it. Now, this game is supposed to be kind of like an open world MMO. It deals with settling the West. So you go in as a settler, you kind of like pick an area of land in this huge world, and you have to go in and you have to craft your supplies, and you basically have to settle. Now, I got to give a shout out to Pred. Pred, you put this article in the DM a couple days ago, and I got to say, I went through the gameplay on this thing like 2 or 3 times to see exactly what they're doing, because I know at the end of the day, Amazon is looking to get into the space that we like to play games in. So, Predator, I'm going to go with you first. What did you think about this game? Is there any description I kind of left out about it that you think is important? And where do you see this game being played on? Do you think it's PC? Do you think it's PC and possibly a future console? I want to hear your thoughts on that as well, man.
Honestly, I haven't heard any rumors about Amazon's console yet. Just more or less they're trying to get in the gaming space. So it might be a multi-plat game. And for them, even if they're making a console, just to start off, I think it'd probably be best for them to kind of make a multi-plat game to kind of get it down a little bit. And the game didn't look like anything that, any other gameplay. It wasn't doing anything revolutionary. It's like...
No, it does look very plain, but... Like,
yeah, it looks very plain Jane, but...
I'm giving them kind of like that first entry, kind of like into it type, like, I guess you could say pass. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
As long as they can get the right people to make the game and just put it where it needs to go, or whatever console needs to go on, that's fine. I think they'll be good with that aspect. If they're making this game, but like their launch title, like that's a different story. Like, it's most people kind of gravitate towards, like for at least with it being an Amazon type game, like they want something probably more multiplayer. I would expect that anyway, coming out the gate, something like Fortnite or something like that, something that's fun and easy to jump into. This game looks like it's like, We Happy Few meets, Conan meets, you know, I can't get in the crafting games. That's never been my
Dude, and
forte.
it's some hardcore crafting. Like you have to make like
Bow and arrows
and you have to
like,
make the utility that like will make the leather and stuff like that. It's kind of crazy, man.
yeah, it looks like it's really in depth in that aspect, but what happens with it for multiplayer is a different story. Like, we have like clans and cliques and stuff like that. But I mean, it could be a fun game from what I saw. But again, that's not really my genre, so it'll be a soft pass for me. But because it's on Amazon, depending on how they release it, like if it's released like online streaming or something like that without having to buy a console, I might fuck with it. But
I think it's going to be on PC. I hear what you're saying about the multiplat, but I just had to chime in here. I don't think this game.
I think you're right. Yeah.
I think it's going to be on PC. I think that's where they're going to gauge their interest and then kind of move on from there. I will say personally, and I'm putting this out there to the rest of the panel. I am saying personally, this is just another step where Amazon is getting closer to the console gaming space. Amazon and Google want to be in there. They have been saying this for a while, and of course, it takes a couple years to kind of get in there, and kind of design hardware. These guys they're coming in from nothing at all.
Nothing. And starting from scratch. Yeah. And so in that last topic, you guys were talking about this a little bit at the end, and I've said this in the past on this podcast. Like, there's not enough room for 4. Like, like somebody's gonna be an odd man out, and I don't know which company it's gonna be. If it's right now we got Nintendo, we got Sony, we got Sony and Microsoft. So if Amazon and Google jump into the mix, that's 5 consoles. There's not enough room. Like, you've seen other consoles try and jump in, like Atari talks about it, and TurboGrafx 16 jumped in for a little while, like over the history, like in this anything you have, like either it's phones or like there's not enough room for 4. It's just usually it's only 3, and right now we have our 3, and they're okay with what they do. They figured out Xbox does multi-plats, online gaming. Sony does single player games. Nintendo does its own fucking weird shit. So like you jump in with Amazon and Google, and they jump into this shit, and they bring something else to the table. Well, let me back up. They're gonna have to bring something else to the table. Besides this, I don't see enough space in the gaming community for 5 fucking companies with individual consoles.
It'll be crazy, man. It'll be like back in the day when we had like TurboGrafx 16 and Neo Geo and like,
Apple Pippin,
Jaguar, and fucking Sega.
Dude, I had a Jaguar. I was one of 3 people who bought a Jaguar in the United States. So, yo, that Bruce Lee game
am I right?
Cool.
It seems like throughout the history of just gaming and devices,
there's usually
general,
like 3 that stay.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
3 stay, and like 1 gets kind of lost in the wind. There's one or 2 people fighting to keep it alive, and it stops.
Hold on, I am getting a knock at the door. So, yo, keep going. And when you're done, yo,
I'm done. We can go on to the next person.
All right. Well, let's go. Don. I don't know, Don. Did you see the gameplay? And what do you think in terms of Amazon coming in on gaming? Do you think they're inching closer, like what I'm saying, to console, to coming out with hardware?
Yes. They got a long road ahead of them. To be honest with you, you have to build up the customers, trust to invest in not only in your system but to your ecosystem. We're in a different place now. I think the only success they'll ever see in the gaming space as it grows is going to be in the streaming market for them alone, which is still makes some money if you have the infrastructure. It's just not going to make as much money as the console guys, and it's a nice alternative to reach if you get to that 2 billion gamer mark that everyone keeps talking about.
Just trust me.
I think that's where they have an opportunity because they can tie it to Amazon Prime.
Oh goodness, guys, I just stopped the presses. One of the twins came into the room and he put a fidget spinner back that was snaps. I guess he was using it. And he looked like he was crying. I got to share this. So I muted myself and I asked him, like, why are you upset? Why are you crying? And he looked at me and with a tear running down his cheek, he was like, I lost my mojo. I'm like, I thought he had a toy or something named the Mojo. I'm like, what's a mojo? He's like, when you play a game and you're good at it, I lost my mojo. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, guys. I had to share that. That was the most incredible thing I've heard all day. And that's nothing against the panel here or everybody in the chat, but that is just one of those priceless moments as a parent that I won't forget. But my bad. I just
No, we're done. Let's keep moving.
All right. Yo, all right, I got to ask cuz Mega, you get into PC gaming, you game on multiple platforms. First I got to ask if you saw the gameplay and what you thought about it if you did see it. But then I got to ask you what does this mean for you, like kind of Amazon getting in here? I mean, they have a game closed beta. I'm actually glad the guy leaked it out to give us a chance of looking at what they're thinking about doing in terms of games, and I want to hear what you think, man.
Well, I mean, the game looks interesting. I mean, I would play it, but it's not
pretty
something...
plain. But it
it's
pretty open.
Just like
too.
most. Yeah, it's that's kind of like how those MMOs kind of look like when you play them off like PC and things like that. But I mean, look, I'm more concerned about Google than I am Amazon.
They both got heavy pockets, man.
They got crazy pockets, but I don't know if you guys seen this, but Google already showed that they already got people testing
Assassin's Creed.
They're streaming Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I watched it to that whole 10-minute trailer.
Dude. Like
I understand that, but you know, it was just like when I was trying to explain for the brief moment I was on GRG South. It's when I'm not there, that's what they call it. But anyway, that you know, they keep thinking that, oh man, it's going to take a whole bunch of bandwidth, it's going to do this, it's impossible, it's like, and in that article it said the only thing they needed was 25 megabits per second for that to be used at 1080p 60 frames per second. Like, wow. So I mean, it's you know, and will it have hiccups? I'm sure it will, but to me it's just the start of what's going on, and you never know. Amazon could not make a console, or they could, but they could be like the new Sega. You know, they could just buy developers and start making games. You see what I'm saying?
Becoming like a publisher type deal?
Be a publisher. I would think that would be more of a better strategy for them than just building a. It
would be a
console.
Better first step, but like I said, they got money though, man.
So like or if they that does Stream Direct and they work partners, and that I think that would be more up their alley for sure as well.
Right. I think that would be the best strategy for them. Plus the fact that I would think that they would have a better chance of competing with Steam than they would with the console space. I think that they would want to probably have games on to be multiplats. But I think for going after Steam, because it seems like Steam has had some vulnerability right now because of the fact of how the percentage that they take out, things like that. And you know that Amazon is real quick on doing some cutthroat games. You know what I'm saying? They all about cutthroat.
Mega, check this out though. Check this out. With Amazon, like, can you imagine if they do come out with hardware? You got to remember, most people, when they order online, they order like games, they order hardware, they order consoles and stuff. It's usually through Amazon. Can you imagine the type of like marketing that they'll have through their own website for their own hardware,
amazing.
man?
It would be amazing, and it would be cheap. That's what Amazon. Everybody has to follow suit of what they do because they dictate it, because they can afford to throw it out there at a cheaper price than anybody else. Yeah. So again, but still, it's just like what Prey had said, is that you have to have, you know, out here in the gaming streets, people they tend to be tight with their gaming consoles or whatever, like sports teams. You know, they have a side. And so when you have a new kid on the block, it's not going to be so easy to get them to say, oh, well, I'm just going to go with Amazon.
It's like
or
the
whatever.
Expansion draft, and you're the Vancouver Grizzlies, man.
Yeah, you know, like, like, you know what? And so you have to build a fan base. So to me, even though they have deep pockets, and this is probably they'll have a lot more success than any other company. Like, going to the past, thinking of, when Atari tried to come back, and then Panasonic was trying to do it and shit like that. They got
3DO.
deep pockets. They could take 3DO. They could take a hit. TurboGrafx 16.
I love the TurboGrafx system.
I had a friend that had a Turbo. Yeah, I thought it was too. I was playing Altered Beast on that thing, and I was like, "Oh my god, these graphics look like the arcade."
Yeah.
So yeah, it was dope. But yeah, they have the pockets, but I think it would be better for them to try to go after the PC space, because that's more of a PC game, and then try to go after Steam and then be a publisher.
So basically, baby steps until you get up there. Like gain some credibility, gain some experience before you just go diving headfirst into the deep end. Mm-hmm. I can kind of see that. I think that their wallet will cushion the fall a little bit, but I definitely see that. I mean, that's common sense, but then again, these companies that have so much money, a lot of times common sense is not in their equation either. So I don't know, man. At the end of the day, I think it's interesting. You got kind of like companies kind of looking through the window into the console gaming space. You see Amazon, you see Google with their browser streaming of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, kind of like getting ready to open the door there. And it like I said, it's going to be interesting. I like what Pred said though, because at the end of the day, when you have 4 or 5 companies, at the end of the day it trickles down to 3 anyway. And it'll be interesting to see who stays, who leaves, but I feel that's like years down the line. So until then, the gamers will get more and more options year over year, and people will decide where they're going to play, what games they're going to play, and I think this is really a good time to be a gamer in general.
Oh, absolutely.
With that being said, guys, it is just over 9 o'clock. We hit all of our topics. That's because Crap Gamer wasn't the guest and adding them in at the end. Another great show. Again, a huge shout out to the chat. If you didn't do it yet, definitely slap that thumbs up button. Let people know how much you liked hanging out with us tonight on Next. But like a 40-year-old with a comb over, we gotta get our plugs in. And we will start with K-Mega first. K-Mega, what do you got going on this week? And how can people get a hold of you, man?
Work. No, I'm playing.
I know, right?
I thank God for the rain. I mean,
dude, again, I gotta say, I appreciate. Yeah. I know you put in a lot of hours, man, and you show dedication to come in and still talk games with us. I gotta say, I really do appreciate it, dude.
Yeah, my old fat butt is still, or I should say, go bring back the yellow ass. Is still sore from this week, boy. Oh, yeah. But anyway, but no.
Hold on.
Whoa, wait a minute. The ass is sore.
Yeah,
I used to
let it go, man. Just don't.
All right, just let it ride.
I was just gonna ask Don what he thinks the percentages are that K-Mega's feet are in that foot massager right now. And
there will be when
Forza. He's gonna turn up his. Oh, yeah. When he turns the soundbar up, he's like, yeah, he's got the foot massager going on.
I'm in here with the ladies, so I mean, we might all have to. We might Delilah and Infamous, and so they invited me, so I'm in there with them. So yeah, we can all do the streaming. It's going to be all good. But no, yeah, I'm definitely going to try to crank that thing open, and you might hear the bubbles going. These dogs need it, Jack. So yeah, you gotta keep it right. But anyway, check me out on my channel, KMega405. Appreciate for all the subscribers that I have here, especially since I ain't been putting out a lot of content here lately, but I appreciate it. Also, check out the GWG. The ladies, they do their thing on. They have their own channel.
Grown Women Gaming.
Grown Women Gaming. Check them out. They're solid. They got a lot of information on gaming and stuff like that. Big shout out to Intro Media Gaming. Also, you see me on BGST. You see me on here, and then also. On my podcast, the GRG podcast, every Friday night on my channel after Crossfire, or it's going to be it's 8:30 my time Central. I think it's 6:30 Pacific and it's 9:30 Eastern. So yeah, check us out, man. Appreciate it.
Nice, brother. Don, what do you got going on, man? And how can people get a hold of you, sir?
The best way to get a hold of me is on Twitter, which is a Don_KTR. It's the same for my gamer tag, but there's a space, no underscore. If you want to play a little mud trucks or whatever, hit me up. We can definitely go there.
Nobody wants to play that, dude. Nobody.
No, people have been asking for this like weekly. So
There's a Mud Trucks 2 coming out too.
yeah, exactly, because it's a success.
Lowered expectations. But anyway, Predator, what do you have going on this week, and where can people get a hold of you? And when I say where, as you can see, we've all been saying our Twitter handle. So what's going on, brother?
Predator_HOS on Xbox, PlayStation, YouTube, and Twitter. Hit me up on there. And what'd you say?
I said Twitter.
Twitter. I'm everywhere. I haven't been on any other podcast in a while. I did Boom's podcast a couple of weeks ago, but I've been working like crazy, so like it's been hard for me to even get on my Xbox and play anything. But
and he's still bringing that gameplay. What?
Still getting up at 4:00 in the morning to supply you with some gameplay. So that's a regular. So just make sure y'all vote for Pred, and shout out to Otter for all his time here on the podcast, man.
Nice.
If we got enough time, if K-Meg can chime it up real quick, got one more last Otter sound for him on the way out the door. But other than that, man, thanks for tuning in. We're gonna miss Otter. We're looking forward to seeing who our next new guest is on the show.
We'll see who else on the panel I'm gonna kick out, man. No, I'm just playing.
Man, you don't know. You want to cross spot, he'll kick you out, man.
Yeah, you better watch out, Don.
Did somebody say something about the Otter noise?
Yeah, you didn't hear that? Do we have an Otter salute to send us off, brother?
Fuck you. Oh, no, hold on.
Fuck you.
That's not an otter right there.
That's not
that is it.
Fuck you, hiding ass.
We'll wait for you, Mega.
Yeah. Everything hurts right now, man. Even my fingers. I got to move real slow, Jack. Hold on,
I'm gonna change the name of the show to the Off the Rails Gaming Podcast, man.
Yeah. Yes.
I think we need to do that.
Oh, here we go. I think
here we go.
I need to get that soundboard little thing.
One last salute to the angry otter himself. Let's go.
One last salute. Here you go. Oh no.
It's the first show of the.
Oh, they a damn commercial. Damn,
we're ending the show the way we started it, man.
I know, right?
Yeah. Hold on, let me do it again. Damn, there's all these commercials. All right. How's work, Otter? Are we still cool? What do you think about Don? What about Pred's gameplay? How do you think about getting hosed by a bot in gameplay? Oh, he didn't like that.
Wow, he didn't like that.
All right. Well, okay. Thank you. Good, man.
And we're going to end it off with what I say every Saturday. We will check you out next Saturday for the next podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Peace.